Hey, what's up? Julian here. If you know me, you know me. If you don't, um, then I don't know if you don't know me. I would like to meet you if that's the case. Um, yeah. All right. So, in short, I'm just going to be talking about my experience of encountering God um, throughout my life, but a particular moment that really got me from A to B, a really big transitional moment in my life at a young age, which I'm really grateful for that he stopped me early on before I could continue on, because no telling the outcome, or well, the outcome was pretty obvious on where it was going. So, um, but I'm gonna get right to it. So, I grew up in North Carolina, Hickory, HKY828, shout out. And it's a beautiful place. Like, just everything beautiful is there. Skateboarding scene is livid. It is amazing. Shout out to all the skate homies. But later on throughout my high school time, maybe like sophomore year, I finally gave into drugs. I broke, you know. It was available, and it was like, it ain't that bad. And so I started, and what started became a habit, and then a lifestyle, and a daily thing. And then from there on, I started selling, especially like senior year and stuff like that. So what was a one-time immediately just became a casual habit to a continual thing, and then to a full-fledged addiction. For multiple reasons why I would do it, especially things at home or situations, disappointments, and all that other stuff to try to cope with life at a young age. Drugs is always that thing that we, I think, in our youth turn to naturally, especially things at home are not going well. We're just wanting to fit in. If you don't have friends, drugs will be the friend, but it's at the end of the day, it just leave you empty. It left me empty, so I'm only going to speak on myself and where I was at the time. So, in short, maybe not in short, but I'm going to try to wrap this up. After high school, 2015, me and a buddy were driving. He was driving, I was in the back seat. We were smoking and stuff like that. And, I'm slumped in the back seat. I'm like completely knocked out, and we're not too far away from where we needed to be. Well, I feel like a hand just like tapping my knee. I'm like, trying to wake up a little bit, and then it's like aggressively tapping my knee twice as hard, and I'm just like, what? And as I'm opening, I just feel the pulsing of flashing lights, and as I'm like slowly getting a glimpse, they're blue flashing lights. Now, if you know that you are doing illegal things and you see blue flashing lights, it is not good. And that was the situation that we were in. I believe we were 19. We had alcohol, paraphernalia, and all other types of drugs in the car. This all black SUV, black rims. I believe my homie was wearing a black leather jacket, and then the black guy in the back seat. Just was a capital A suspicion in the eyes, I believe, of police during 11 o'clock at night on a back road on top of that. So we are greeted by this posse of what it looked like to be a squad of Xbox Halo team posted up, ready to shut it down. And man, there was flares, there was SUVs, there was cones, the roads were blocked off, dudes had guns and everything, and I'm just like, whoa, like what did I wake up to? Because this is definitely not a dream. homie's like, what do we do? We're whispering, and we're driving at the same time, trying to keep our composure, not to what do we do? And at that moment, I was just like, dang, I've lost all my chances of being a brother. I lost all my chances of a future. I was like, I really messed up big time. All my life was wasted on this, some drugs. Me and my homie on top of that, not just about me, but we just wasted our life. And he had just gone through a very traumatic thing not too long ago. It's just no, this is terrible. Not him too. And man, we're finally up to this point where this police officer walks up to our car with this 10-foot long flashlight, and he's scoping out through the windows. He's looking at the tires, and he's looking at my homie. My homie's got a cigarette in his hand. We're shaking. We are shaking like we live in Alaska. We are froze. We do not know what's about to go down, because if he says open this door, it's donezo. Guarantee that we were going to get arrested without a doubt. And this police officer, I remember looking right out the back window that I was at on the left side. The light's literally in my face. I'm making eye contact with this dude, and he backs up a little bit, and he says, or he doesn't say, we didn't hear him, but he looks around, and he looks at his posse, whatever, and he tells them to clear the way. And I was just stuck, just froze. I was bored. So was my homie, and we're starting to ease past him. We do some, and as we get maybe 5 minutes down the road, we just start screaming. We're like, oh my God, we're so crazy, blah, blah, blah. What just happened? We're freaking out. We thought we were ninjas or something. And I remember as we were shouting, this thought was just that was not supposed to happen, and that had to be God. And for some reason, that act, that moment right there was just I was just aware of mercy, and I was aware that for some reason mercy related to God. And we get to the place that we need to go to, and we're going to celebrate. We started bragging to all the people that we was yo, we just blah 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 blah, and we'll celebrate, and getting on the alcohol, getting on the drugs and stuff like that. And I remember just trying to smoke and drink, and I was just this was not supposed to happen, and for some reason God intervened, and I need to find out. So in trying to find out, I immediately, the next morning, I hit up my buddy number 2, homie, love to death, coolest dude. He was at work. I was like, yo, blank, is there a Bible at your house by any chance? He's like, maybe, probably just chilling in my closet somewhere under all blah blah. So I was just okay, then you mind if I come over tomorrow and just look, or you mind if I come over and go look? And he was just yeah. So I remember we got back to Hickory, because where we went was out of town. We got back to Hickory, and I went to my other friend's house, and I just raided his house. I flipped over couches, lifted up rugs, just everything. And I remember just looking eagerly for this little white Bible that I remember seeing maybe years ago. And in doing so, eagerly searching, just looking, hoping that I found something, which I could have bought one, but for some reason I was just I need to find this one. And I found it. I remember just the excitement and anticipation of whatever I need, the answer to what happened at the roadblock is in this book. So I immediately just was extremely grateful that I found the Bible, and that I now had the opportunity to find what I was looking for. Because, like I said, this, what I thought was just a book, was going to have the answer to what I experienced. And head back to the place that I was staying, and I remember just like feeling that I need to stop selling. I need to stop doing this because God, for some reason, showed me mercy. I didn't deserve it. And it's exactly what the only response that I think he was looking for. Like, yo, like, I've done this because I want to turn you around. I've done this because I want to show you that there's a better life, that there's more than life than just this. So I am reading the Bible, and I'm trying to stop dealing, but yet I'm dealing at the same time. And then I'm trying to slow down, and then an opportunity happens where I got to, and it's just like, freak, I'm stuck in this rut, this loop. And it was maybe maybe a couple weeks after that, and I get to Exodus in the Bible. And if you know anything about Exodus, it is basically the story of Moses, this guy that God saw oppression over a people, and he's like, I want to let these people go. I want these people to be my people, so I want to set them free. And he uses this man who feels disqualified or whatever to do so. Well, they get to this point where they need to cross the ocean, the Red Sea, and it's an ocean, and it's just people during forever years ago. And God makes a way for them when there was no way, and he opens up the waves, and they walk through, and he closes them. And I remember when I read that, I was just like, this is it. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I was mind blown that I found what I was looking for. Like, it was a miracle that it happened to them, and it was a miracle that happened to us. He showed mercy. And I remember closing the book and just getting on my knees and crying out to Jesus, crying out to God. Just confession. I was like, you see what I've done, what I've done with this life, and how could I really don't remember what I confessed. It wasn't structured at all. It was just a begging. I was begging just for a new life, more to life than what I was experiencing and having, more than drugs, more than concepts, more than the party life that I was living, more than, because it was just not benefiting me. I wasn't satisfied at all. So, in short, I, from that time, just started like, I need to do better or something. Like, I just need help. I asked Jesus to, like, change my life. And I'm uncontrollably ugly crying. Like, I'm wailing my soul out to God. And his response was a situation that happened maybe 2 days afterwards. So my mom had moved to Virginia, and I was still in North Carolina, and my grandparents were the one traveling up and down the road to help her move stuff. So I get a call from my grandparents saying, hey, we're coming in town, blah, blah, blah. We just want to check on you, see how you're doing. And I was like, all right, cool, bet. And immediately I felt that urgency again of like, you need to pack your bags. And I was just like, my homie was on the way. He had just came over, and we were gonna hang out and chill. And I was just like, man, I need to give this life away. I need to give this up. And them coming down was my opportunity to leave. I didn't have a car, didn't have a job or nothing. And I remember telling my friend, I was like, yo, man, I gotta go. Like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep living this way. And he was extremely supportive. We were both shocked because it was unexpected, but it was just like, it was the only way I was gonna have a real life. So there I was. There I was, just like super in between, should I stay or should I go? And I really needed like the peace that I was wanting for or longing for, but I couldn't find it where I was at. I needed that rest. I needed to have a life without paranoia and anxiety attacks. And just like striving to please people with being a drug dealer or whatever. And that wasn't the life that God had made for me. That was not my future. So I remember it was July 9th, 2015 that my grandparents pulled up, and I told them like, hey, I'm coming this time. Like I can't stay here. They were ecstatic, of course, being a grandchild and stuff like that, but it was the start of a new life. And that's all because of God. It's nothing about me. Like, these choices that I made, I believe, were all orchestrated by God, but he kept on pushing me. As a good father, was like, yo, you don't have to play with broken glass. Like, you can play with toys. You can have fun. You don't have to get hurt. You don't have to keep hurting yourself. Let me clean you up. And being cleaned up by God is a daily thing. So I'm not trying to paint the picture as if I'm a perfect person or if I'm better than who I was. But the Lord definitely has changed my life by that kindness. And this is what I believe he was doing in that moment. It says, by the kindness and patience of God. He does it with the intent to lead me out of my sin, to lead me to repent. The mercy of God was his way of like getting my attention to draw me to a different direction. And it did. The act of mercy that he showed at the roadblock, by changing the outcome, by showing grace, by intervening in a situation where I just would have became another black stereotypical statistic in prison or overdose or whatever. He intervened, and that mercy, that grace right there showed me how concerned and caring of a person, how personal he longs for his creation. And he got me, and that's what started leading me to want to know about Jesus. That's what started leading me to think about Jesus, wanted to read his word, wanted to see his heart when I open his word or hear his words and listen to his word and ask him to help me follow this path. It's not easy, but by the grace and the Spirit of God, he will lead. And I'm extremely grateful, and that's my whole point. And my intent of sharing what I experienced, the continual goodness of God, the mercy, the wonderfulness of His kindness towards me. I definitely didn't deserve it. I definitely was living a life that was based upon my own pleasure, and my own doing, my own way, the way that I thought was right. And that way that I thought was right was only leading me. It was a dead end. It was destroying me. It was destroying my body. It was destroying my character and who I was created to be for God. It's who I'm created to be for God is so much more fulfilling and purposeful and lively. And the God of my body, my well-being, my future, my mental health, it's Jesus. And when I see His heart, when I see how He acted, how He treated people, it just confirmed how He treated me. He had no respect of persons, and He shows kindness to who He wants to show kindness to. And I definitely didn't deserve it, but He did. And that's just what was the rod and hook to my jaw that just was like, man, this is life. This is what I was made for. He is who I belong to. And I thank the Father for the sacrifice and attention and devotion that He gives to His creation, to me, to my family, to my homies. Whether we know it or not, God's so invested into what He made. And my goal, maybe in the future of talking about other topics, is just to unravel how amazing Jesus is, how present and available He is, and how concerned and helping He is in our weaknesses, in our failures, in our disappointments, in our discouragements, in our losses, in death, in pain and suffering and agony. How there's still a consistent, available, present God who is for His creation, who walks with His creation, who leads. And the end result is that we're with Him forever. And I say all this just to be like, He showed kindness to me, and I was nobody. I'm still nobody. But it just shows me how somebody He is, who His personality is. He's a friend that we shouldn't be afraid of, shouldn't be afraid to approach. And I know life, with all of its mess, puts dirt on the face of God, puts accusations and fears and blocks in the face of God. So he feels unapproachable. And maybe in the way that we're living makes it feel like He's unapproachable, but I promise He's approaching you. He's the one walking past with His eyes on you. And I saw that at the roadblock. I saw God with His eyes on me, with all the drugs tucked in my socks and the paraphernalia in the back, and me slumped with bloodshot red eyes and going to sell drugs the next day while trying to read the Bible. And His focus and attention was on me. And it doesn't get no better than that when you know that you belong to someone else, and that someone was willing to sacrifice their time and attention and devotion, and let alone their body, their strength, their livelihood, so that I may live an abundant life. That type of attention you don't get from your average person. That type of attention you don't get from nobody, especially on a consistent basis. Man, God is really good, and He's really for you. Especially when we turn to listen, when we turn to hear, when we turn to pause. It's very easy to not pause. And pause and recognize, that was God. I need help, or you like, there's so many opportunities that God is trying to make himself available, or is available in your life, and it's so easy just to bypass him. It's so easy to look the other way. It's so easy to get caught up in life, to just focus on the sorrows, to focus on the pain, to focus on ourselves. And God just gets so invisible when we focus on ourselves. But I promise, if we give him the time and attention, we will see how apparent, how near, how close he is to us. And let alone how good he has been, especially with what he did with his own son. I just hope and pray that you meet Jesus in that type of way, not the way that I met him, because that was my experience. But I pray that you meet Jesus in a way that you're just like, thank you, Lord, at the end of the day, and that you want to follow him, not as some Americanized genie that serves us, but as a friend that you come to console with, to be around, to rest assured that your future, your life now and the life to come, is made to be 10 times better than maybe what you experienced or what you're experiencing. You will find your life in God's word, and you'll find your life perfectly safe in God's hands, by the grace of Jesus, by the mercy of Jesus, the kindness. So I share all this with the hopes of that Jesus would just open your eyes to see who he is. Open your eyes to see who he is. And every day I need my eyes open to see who Jesus is. Because there's so many things that tries to blurry that vision, blurry his character. Whether it be my own intentions, whether it be things I hear, whether it be influence, there's so many things that's trying to put this mirage like Jesus in front of us. But I promise you, Jesus stands out above any and all things. He stood out to me as a gracious friend who is capable of doing anything he wants. So, deuces, and to be continued.